a number of people getting together, looking at what's our long-term vision for our regional economic development. And clearly, there's a lot of links between Summit County and Wasatch County. Just to read these, we do believe, as somebody mentioned earlier, that we have 4 season opportunities. It's not just the winter skiing. And so, focusing on the multi-season recreation and the activities that both of our counties enjoy. We'll pursue development so the balanced and diversified economic base. When the economy went south a few years back, a lot of the reason we were impacted so much is because we were predicated upon tourism solely. So finding that diversified economy will help us to be more resilient as the market shifts. And climates while providing variety of employment opportunities for the residents. We also feel like it's important to preserve, be committed to the heritage of rural communities. There's a significant economic draw to preserving that rural community feel, and that's where families can live and work due to a more diversified economy. Talk about this, the strategic diversification of our industry sectors. It's essential for our economic vibrancy. And again, we need to focus on economic development in a way that preserves and enhances our quality of life, and that can be through a number of things. And then the region is focused on lengthening visitor stays. We see a lot of people coming into the mountains. We need to make sure that they don't just come for today, but that they can come for multiple nights. And in return, our economy will be enhanced. So, and the same goes true for the companies that are expanding into our counties. We need to make sure that they feel welcome and are here for the long run. Any questions or anything you want to add to that?
I think we just want to hear from you. Does this represent this region?
I would suggest wildlife and air quality as definitely to perhaps should include here.
Do you want it in economic or in the environmental?
I'm assuming it would tie into the quality of life. Where's that at?
It's the second to last bullet.
Thank you. Something probably right in there because, that's part of our economy, it's part of our heritage as well.
So if we're going to talk quality of life, maybe we could even say open space being an important aspect of quality of life.
But, for our county, Wasatch County, what about our agricultural base? How much are we trying to sustain that as well as diversify our economy? Does anybody from Wasatch County have ideas on that? It's not so much an issue for perhaps Summit County on agricultural base. But to me, that's also part of the heritage.
We do cover that in the third bullet. We talk about some heritage rural communities.
But does that need to be stronger? Right, because if we can preserve open space, we can preserve an agricultural element.
I think that's something we could have pretty easily.
Yeah, no problem.
Other questions?
No, Liz, I just tag on to what you're saying because, I think even more than the open space, I think it's well worth calling out the wildlife. Because one of the struggles that we've had in Park City as we've looked at future open space purchases is trying to be really strategic about what we buy and preserve wildlife corridors. So it might be that the way to address her comments is to strengthen the third bullet point to discuss agriculture, and then strengthen the fifth bullet point to acknowledge that our natural environment, including the wildlife, is, at least to my mind, is the bedrock of our economic development in many ways. I'll leave it all to some wordsmith.
No, that's right.
Thank you.
Other comments on this one?
Just one more on Julian Foster, Park City, that I think what I'm hearing in the ag piece in particular is that recognizing that we actually already have the basis for a diversified economy in both Summit and Wasatch County in agriculture, right? So don't lose that industry that's already a diversification of a resort economy. So preserving that is important because it's a whole lot easier to preserve an existing industry than to grow a new one.
So this is the environmental framework. The Wasatch Back strives to improve the environmental quality of our communities by addressing impacts from our mining history while concurrently improving the health of our ecosystem. Our communities have a joint foundation based on conservation of land and water while maintaining our clean, clear air. We believe in smart resource conservation and aquifer preservation, as well as supporting access to locally produced food and food security. We are committed to a high standard of water quality and supply through continued system maintenance. We strive to improve and support public health, safety, and recreational lifestyles enjoyed by residents, second homeowners, and visitors from around the world.
Nice work.
It was a lot of good input.
And Mike Davis, Wasatch County. One of the things that, in a perspective we need to keep on this isn't going to change any of our general plans per se. We all have our specific areas of our general plans in preserving agricultural grounds and enhancing recreational opportunities of wildlife and other things. And this doesn't change that. What this is a potential opportunity to essentially enhance visitors to our area in very simple terms. And I think some of the concern as staff and some of us have met is that we want to be careful as a region to make sure that if this happens, that it happens the way that we want it to, so it doesn't negatively impact those things each of us have already done or have already planned. We're not recreating anything here particularly, but we're trying to emphasize those areas in our plans that have the most importance to us. We're a relatively small player in Wasatch County in this process. Park City is going to be a much larger player in the process, and Sandy City a much larger player, and the state as a whole a much larger player. So our influence will be, it'll be there, but it may be mitigated to a degree. So we just felt as a region, by making sure we are getting each of our combined units, get the serious things that we have to at the very top of this, we may be able to preserve and help our own general plans the best we can. We're not going to really change anything that, well, we will change to a degree, but basically we have our plans in place, and they will change over time, but this isn't going to substantially change those.
No. And just as a side note to that comment, so the Park City team is going to the Park City Council in the next month and a half. We're taking our general plan and our values, and then we're looking at the ways that this could impact, depending on whether or not things are successful, so that we can make decisions about directions based on our general plans. Any concerns with language in here, or thoughts of additions or omissions?
One comment. I'm Jack Thomas, Mayor of Park City. Can't help but acknowledge the fact that we want more skiers, more people, we want more economic activity. And just the fact that you're putting more people, more pressure upon the land, impacts the sewer districts, and impacts the water quality. So, I know you know this, and I know that this is a very difficult issue. So the more people we add, the more we impact the urea in the water, the number of skiers on the mountain directly to that, and the more influence it has on infrastructure. So I think there's a delicate balancing act here, and I think we need to go into it with our eyes wide open with regard to this balance. And we're all here because we've been a successful community, been successful in our resort industry, and all the spin-off activities, and our centers of development in Wasatch Back. But, I think there's some difficult tasks ahead of us with regard to really stepping up to that level and we say preserving our water quality. Preserving the natural environment. And so I think that does take an effort like this, a coordinated effort with all of our communities to make sure that we do that. Because that means more cars, and it's hard to give that up. And so we really have a commitment to preserving this quality, or we're just giving them lip service. I know you don't have an answer to that.
No, but I think that what we're hoping to do is we come to Park City, and I know Doug, as he goes to Wasatch, and as we have these conversations with our communities, it's looking at general plans and looking at what they give and take us, and figuring out what that balance is for us. And hopefully we'll get back together in 6 months and have a discussion about where we are on those, and we'll move forward where we can support each other, where we support each other, and where we can't, but hopefully together.
And Andy Bear with the Park State Council. We touched on this under the economic one, but I'm not sure we really line out preserving our natural setting, specifically wildlife, view sheds, and open space. And that seems to me like it ought to be something that's in here. We sort of did it on the second bullet, but we're not very specific.
And something independent, even if it's really strong on that, would probably be good based on the comments we had from the last.
Are we thinking about any sort of mass transit program?
Right now, they are not. It's outside of the project area. They've been looking at this from the possibility of, so the canyons are Harley's, Mill Creek, though Mill Creek doesn't, it's not going to be really considered. And then you get to Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon. So it's really those 3 canyons that are their primary focus.
See, to me, mass transit would be the key here for air quality. That's just a no-brainer, it's just how you do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and I'll take us through the transportation framework. My name is Sean Seeger, and I'm with the Mountain Land Association of Governments. Staff has come up with these statements for you to consider and add and subtract from, and can give us any suggestions. I'll go through this one at a time, and if you want to jump in, please do so. Raise your hand or just keep my attention. The current roadway network will be utilized efficiently without unnecessarily expanding roads by using the best traffic management practices. This is one of UDOT's final 4 goals, as well as optimize the system. So it's basically stating, take advantage of the existing infrastructure that you've already built. I'll pause after each one of these if you do have thoughts or additions. The Wasatch SPAC will work effectively with each other and other parties to optimize transportation in any form that promotes the values and goals of the community. So optimizing transportation is consistent with our own individual rural and resort characteristics. Third one, we support increasing multimodal choices for individuals as our communities grow and educating our communities on using those modes effectively. So just the idea of increasing other choices besides single occupant vehicle. Maybe we can look at bicycle pedestrian facilities more intently, transit facilities more intently, combinations and combining those modes effectively. Fourth bullet point, we recognize that land use choices should directly correlate with transportation decisions. Of course, this is what we deal with every day in our travel demand modeling that we do. Wherever we have households and jobs, that's where we'll see trip generation occur. As was mentioned, a big part of our challenge is population growth. Both Wasatch and Summit counties will double in population by the year 2040, which is our typical transportation planning horizon that we all look to. Last one right in there. Decisions should celebrate our rural and small town character while growing in a planned and informed manner.